Hi, I'm Rosie Mcewen. I am currently playing Desdemona in Othello at the National Theatre.
First experience with Shakespeare?
Was applying for drama school, because they say you have to do a classical and a contemporary monologue. And when they said classical, I was like, what the hell do I pick from that? And the only thing I'd ever heard of was Romeo and Juliet. So I did Romeo and Juliet, gallop apace, you fiery-footed steeds. And I remember going into my Bristol Old Vic audition, which I eventually ended up going to, and I'd learned it completely wrong because I didn't know how to say any of the words. And they ended up stopping me and saying, we can't listen to this whole monologue because you haven't learnt it right. So that put the fear in me. And I think I had a real barrier from then on, because I was like, what do you mean I haven't learnt it right? What is the right way to do it? So I think there's such a stigma around doing it right. And then I think when I went to drama school, I kind of got rid of it a bit, but even now, I've done drama school training, I've done a season at the RSC, and I've done a play here at the National, and I still feel nervous about approaching that text.
I mean, I think it makes sense, because I think also, like, that thing with going auditioning for drama school, it's sometimes, as it was for you, was for me, really the first experience you've ever had of Shakespeare, right? So it's where do you look to find those answers? Because you know you're not going to get to drama school if you don't do a Shakespeare speech. Like,
yes.
You have to do one. That's
yes.
Part
Well, they say classical, I mean, you don't know
true.
where else to go.
That's also true.
Like Christopher Marlowe, perhaps, but even that is terrifying.
Yeah.
All of it's quite terrifying.
Yeah. And out of all of the classical, Shakespeare is the most successful, right? So people still go there.
Yes,
and I remember watching one of the films and going, I'm just going to do what I saw in the film.
Yeah.
They did it, I guess, probably all right. And I didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
So that was your first. Okay. So drama school, what was that like?
That was like, we did a bit. There's quite a lot of emphasis on it, but I don't think anyone really teaches you what verse is. Mm-hmm. And they say, oh, it's 10 beats per line and you breathe at the end. But like even that, it was actually coming here and working with Jeanette Nelson, the voice teacher here, when it really started to cement, and I felt a tiny bit more relaxed about it, because she was like, it's just the thoughts. You just have to say all the thoughts in one go. And that was quite like, oh, that's easy. And if anything, that's really helpful. That's how humans speak. Yeah. We say our thoughts in one go. So if you follow the line through and get to the end and breathe when the thought is finished, it makes sense. Yeah. And that was quite eye-opening for me. At drama school, it was still quite a lot of stigma, and there was a lot of Shakespearean talk and a lot of emphasis on voice and consonants and all of that stuff. So I think, I don't think that helped me whatsoever.
So when you went to the RSC then, right, which is obviously the Royal Shakespeare Company, people who don't know, did you do non-Shakespearean work there? Because obviously they do a lot of different stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah. We did Tamburlaine by Christopher Marlowe.
Oh, with Philip...
Michael Boyd directed it.
Oh, okay, Michael Boyd, okay, fine.
And that was more terrifying. That was like bigger speeches, there was less sort of duologues. And then we also did Timon of Athens, which is quite a questionable Shakespeare play. Do you know it?
Not very well, but I know it's questionable because I read
It's questionable. I don't think he actually finished writing it. I think someone else took over, and I think that's actually why it's questionable. But when I was there, they really wanted to get filmed versions of every single one of his plays, like in a canon. So I think we actually kind of drew the short straw trying to do that one, because they're not all amazing.
No. So then RSC. Then what did you do?
Shakespeare-wise?
No. Like post-RSC. So RSC, I'm assuming, was that the last Shakespeare before you came here?
Yeah.
Right.
That was the last play before I came here. After I left the RSC, I did a Netflix show, and we filmed in Budapest for 6 months. And then I've just done TV and film since then, really. Okay. And this is my first play since the RSC.
Wow. So what's it like coming into Othello?
Oh, it's terrifying.
At the National, by the way.
Terrifying. The most terrifying thing ever.
Right.
I did a lot of work with Jeanette leading up to it, which I think was really helpful. And we just went through the text really, really slowly, point by point, and just went through the basics of what I was saying. Just trying to understand exactly what I was saying, because I think that was the most important thing to get to grips with first.
And how long did that, did you have a moment where it felt like you got that unlocked for you?
It changes every day. Some days I think, oh, I've got this. And some days it just flows and the breath comes where it's meant to. And then some days I find myself running out of breath and then I'm trying to catch up. And then I'm breathing in the middle of the line and I'm like, oh, I'm not quite in my flow today. So I think working with Giles and working with Paul really helped. I think being surrounded by people who have that iambic in their blood is really helpful. Especially with duologues, because their pace is really important, was something else that I have learnt.
And how do you, how do you prepare yourself? Because obviously Giles has his own way of preparing to go on stage. Like, given that this is your first play, since, obviously, and your first Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Like, how did you prepare? Has it changed over the course of the run?
I was terrified. I was terrified. I think also when you're filming, you get so used to having so many goes. And you can get it wrong and you're not really thinking about the lines, because if you forget, it doesn't matter. I was terrified about the lines because if you break the rhythm, like learning a song, you can't just jump back in. So that was the thing that frightened me the most. But actually I've learned that Shakespeare, it is like a song. Once you're in the rhythm, it's really hard to break out of it. And actually, it's easier to learn those lines than any other lines, really.
And are you musical, whatever that might mean? I don't know what that phrase means, but do you sing or do you play anything?
No.
No, I just wonder, because like, we've discussed this before, Giles and I, many times, and some actors find, because of their musicality, it's really helpful. Some people aren't, and it makes a difference, but I just wasn't sure.
No. I mean, I try. I love singing. I used to play the flute.
Okay, right, yeah.
And I love singing, but no, I'm not good at it.
Okay.
I don't know, but I think the pace is really helpful. And actually, the thing I've learned the most is that he writes like humans speak. And it's hard to get that in other contemporary things. Shakespeare really is the best at that. At especially duologue scenes, the back and the forth, just asking the questions, the emotions just being right at the front and being unafraid, and to say what you really feel. And I think that's actually been the most exciting thing, probably.
Did you find in rehearsals, where did your focus go? Because obviously there's a lot of physical stuff going on in the show. Like, there's a lot of movement, there's a lot of,
Is there?
Well, there is, yeah. I mean, from an audience point of view, maybe not.
Yeah,
for you
from the
much.
people around the thing.
Maybe not so much for you. Actually.
Yeah, not so much for me.
Okay, so you were able to focus really on the language, and that's what you spent your time.
Yeah.
How long before you started rehearsing did you know you were going to play the part?
About 2 months. And the first thing I thought was, oh my God, press night. I was thinking about the press night the moment I got that part.
Yeah. So did you use that time like wisely, like good little actors should do, or did you just go, I'll deal with it?
No, I did. I actually did. Do you know what I did? I watched all John Barton's videos.
Oh, okay.
Have you watched them?
No.
With like Judi Dench, he makes this like BBC show, and there's like 7 or 8 episodes, and it's all on YouTube. And he gets these actors up to speak in the verse, like Ian McKellen's in it, Judi Dench is in it, Patrick Stewart is in it, and that was the best thing, because you can't really read about it, you've got to hear it done. And I also used to watch lots of performances. I watched like Julius Caesar with Ben Whishaw. I watched Ben Whishaw a lot, and I watched him do Hamlet a lot. And then I would follow it by the text and see like where he was breathing and where he was emphasizing and how he was making sense of that the best. And that was quite helpful, just to take the fear away. Because when you just watch it, it can feel like just a bunch of words. And when you're like, oh wait, oh he's doing that and he's stopping there. Oh, that makes sense because there's a full stop there. That starts to like break it down a bit and doesn't seem so frightening.
Where do you think this fear element comes from?
I think because it's like what proper actors do is Shakespeare. There's that, so it's on a pedestal. And the best actors do Shakespeare, i.e. Judi Dench and all the dames and whatever. And that was something that the RSC was sort of the height in like, God, in the 90s or the noughties was like the height of where all the actors wanted to be. So I think it's on a pedestal from that. And I think it's done so often, so everyone's got an opinion on it. So you're very quick to judge people that do it. So I think, therefore, it feels scarier.
Yeah.
And I've learned that doing this play, everyone has an opinion on Shakespeare. Because they've seen so many versions of it.
Yeah.
And even if they've just seen one Othello, they're like, well, it's very different to the one that I've seen. Everyone feels like they have something to say about it.
Yeah. And I guess that's the same very specifically for, obviously it's for Othello, but for Desdemona. Because she's a really complicated character, actually.
Yes.
Where do you start with that?
Well, when my agent was like, do you want to go out for Desdemona? I was like, no, not really. Because she's usually very victimised. And I find some of the female characters in Shakespeare is really frustrating because they haven't actually got much of a leg to stand on. Like Catherine, the Taming of the Shrew, just stops talking. Just stops talking, hasn't got any other words to say. And so I was a bit reluctant about playing Desdemona, and there's a lot of like crying, and she just sort of gets pushed aside because she's upset. So I felt frustrated by her and other women. And my agent said, no, Clint's got a really good idea. So just trust him, go in and see what his vision is. And he won't know she's going to be on the same level as Othello. She's going to be like the first lady. And I thought, okay, that's something I could get on board with. And then the more the rehearsals went on, the more I felt excited to change a narrative of what is usually so, I'm not going to say weak because all women are strong, whatever, but it's usually very victimised basically. And I felt like I was really up for changing that.
And I also love the fact that she's perplexed by his behaviour. I really love that. Like, because, you know, I've seen performances where it's immediately tragic, right? But I love the fact that, like, you're going on this journey of going, why is he saying that? Why is he doing that to me? I really don't understand this.
Yeah.
This can't be actually real.
I know, and because it's a love story. Which is something else that Clint said to both of us, which I hadn't really anticipated before. And if the love is at the forefront, the stakes are so much higher. And that's just more interesting for not only Desdemona's play, but Othello to play as well. And that's exciting. Because then it's about them, and that's where the confusion comes from, because she's like, I see you. It's just such a good story, isn't it?
Yeah.
Man goes crazy, gets jealous, convinced by someone else. That's what Shakespeare's so good at, is human nature, what it is to be human.
And what was it like working with Clint?
Great. He's so passionate. He gives such good sort of pep talks. He really sort of charges you up in a way. It's a very exciting rehearsal room to be in. And he takes no prisoners. He's like, go, just do it. Like, I have to sing a song and I'm not a confident singer at all. And he was like, cool, can we just sing it now? And I was like, now. And he was like, yeah, just go for it. And I was like, but I actually think that's an amazing way to work, because it's just like no fear, you just got to jump in. And everything's very natural in terms of the Shakespeare, which it should always be, but he's always errs on the side of things feeling as real as possible, but not letting go of any of the language.
Yeah. Where does Shakespeare's work sit today, relevance-wise? Is it something that you think people should be pursuing and should be enjoying and should be kind of like actively being part of as actors as well? Is it, you know, I don't know, everyone comes to Shakespeare with so many different things. You said a couple of things of how you've come to this world of Shakespeare, but I'm not saying it's the be all and end all either. I just think it's one form of something that we do, right? But should we be still looking after it in the way that we are and revering his work, do you think?
Do you know, it's so funny, because if you'd asked me this before I'd done this Othello, I might have said, I don't know why we're all still so obsessed with it, but having approached it and played a part that I never thought I would enjoy playing as much as I do, I would say Shakespeare writes human nature better than anyone I've ever experienced. And he also, to do a play over and over again with a contemporary text, you probably run out of ways to do it. You've probably got 4 or 5 to 10 times to do that. Whereas doing this play every night, I find new things in that text every single night. And that is a revelation. That's genius. And that only comes with the way, the detail and the thought and the language and the pace, and the fact that every character is so 3D, and there's always something to learn in Shakespeare. Does he need to be upgraded? Absolutely. Does every production need to find something interesting, a new turn, a contemporary twist? Absolutely. Should we be unafraid of cutting it down and making it fast for our like TikTok generation? yes. I think we should be unafraid of editing it, but there's something quite magnificent in the way he knows how we work that is astonishing. And the way he writes, I think duologues more than anything, comedy or tragedy, feels so real.
Yeah. Is there, as an actor, actress, would you prefer?
I say actor.
Yeah.
But I don't mind.
No. As an actor, what does, maybe this is too personal, but what does a good show look like for you versus what a bad show looks like?
Do you know, for me, it's about how it makes me feel.
Mm-hmm.
If I feel something, if I leave feeling very affected, then I know it's something good. And if I've stopped thinking about, God, they've made an interesting choice there, or, oh God, that was a good, they said that line really well, then I'm kind of out of it. If I'm just in the story, that's when I know.
Yeah.
And it could be physical theatre, it could be no words, non-naturalistic, naturalistic, whatever it is. If I'm feeling something, then I know that it's good.
And as an actor, do you rely on the language? Do you have your own subconscious journey that you plotted for yourself as well going on? And there's no right or wrong on this, obviously. Everyone's different, but.
Well, funnily enough, I actually think approaching Shakespeare text, everything's in the text, which is quite terrifying, but also something you don't really get with contemporary text. You're working out, like, whatever your process is, what they have for breakfast, what they're like when they're having a bad day, what they're like when they're having a good day, whatever it is. Whereas with Shakespeare, it is all there. And all that stuff around it comes after you've played with that text. And it's like, for example, Desdemona's first scene when she's talking to the Senate, it's all very regular. It's like 10 beats per line. And you know that she's got her shit together. You know that she's really thought about what she's saying. You know that she's very smart. She's not like, there's not big gaps. There's not stuff that doesn't sort of fit together, random words that feel like they're stretching out. She's really thought it through. And then there's another monologue she has to Iago where she's convincing him, saying, go to Othello and tell him that I love him. And it's a huge monologue and it's one sentence. It's one thought the whole way through. And that instantly gives you tips for her emotional state, because it's like either she feels so impassioned that she has to get this thing out, or it's that she's so completely sure, well, it's probably both, she's so completely sure and convinced of what she's saying that it's all coming out in one word and she knows exactly what she wants to say and she's saying, listen to me and then I will get it out.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's there.
Yeah.
What she has for breakfast is irrelevant in that point because everything is in that text, everything is in that monologue about her emotional state, and that as well is so wild, all those tips that you're given if you really look.
And is that something that's come out more since you've been working with Jeanette Nelson? Like, has she really, like, furnished you with those sorts of...
She really has. The John Barton videos were great, because that just was like going back to the basics, and I really appreciated just like feeling like I could approach a conversation without fear. And then Jeanette just sort of, again, reminded me not to be frightened of it and showed me how to find all the clues, because I think finding the clues, like the one sentence means that could mean this or this, comes only with experience, probably. The full sort of interplay is really nice because it's so true. And it means that when you do take a pause, you really feel it and you've really earned it. And actually, I think at drama school, your instinct to make sense of something is sometimes to really try and break it up. But actually, the sense is gone. Yeah. You're gone. Yeah. You have no idea what I'm talking about. Yeah. If you really try and break it up, there's your line.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the thing that it sometimes as actors we're quite good at, like sitting in our feelings and taking a pause and taking a bit of time, but like power through that line, it's so much more effective and it's so much more human.
Yeah, and I think actually, because I think Burke also said something like, when you, I mean, it's like the right to speak, but when your line is there, it's to be said. Like, it's not to think, oh, now I'm doing.
Yes.
It's like,
yeah.
Like you mentioned music earlier, but like when this has stopped, now is your cue, not like your cue to start thinking about your own it's there to be picked up on. Yeah. Like the ball analogy or whatever.
Yeah, thinking on the line is, Clint said that to me a lot. You also don't realise you're not doing it. So someone will ask you a question. What's one that lines? Alack, my lord, what may you mean by that? Alack the day I never gave him cause. Amelia's saying to Desdemona, maybe he's stressing about you. And Desdemona says, alack the day I haven't done anything wrong. And I always used to she'd go, maybe it's about you. And I'd be like, take a moment and think, well, alack the day I never gave him cause. And Clint was like, why? Are you spending 3.5 seconds when everything you're feeling is said on the line?
Yeah.
And we don't do that in real life. No one takes 3 seconds to do that. Unless maybe you're sitting in an interview situation like this and you have to think about your answer. But if your friend says that to you, you're like, no, why would it be anything about me?
Yeah. And we don't have to earn the right to speak, we just speak.
Yeah.
Unless you're in a situation where you have to earn the right to speak, whatever.
Yeah.
Would you, after this, because you finish tomorrow. Wow, okay. How are you feeling about that?
Oh, weird. It's always weird.
Yeah.
It's always weird. I think because, I mean, as actors, we love being around people. We do this job because we love the community, and it just goes. Suddenly, you're just gone. I always want a break. I'm never like, luckily, I sort of weirdly don't necessarily worry about the next job necessarily. Maybe in a few months, but at this point, I'm always like, cool, I need a bit of a time out. But what I do miss is the people.
Yeah, that is hard, isn't it? Who would you like to play if you could play any Shakespeare character next?
God, probably some of the men.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sort of Romeo would be quite fun.
Mm.
A dope, sick teenager. Quite like Hermione from A Winter's Tale. I'm not that desperate to play loads of them. Is that bad?
No, it's not. Like, look, I think, look,
it's a lot. It's a lot to do. This play has been exhausting, and also the emotions are there. There's nowhere to hide. It's so exposing. Everything you feel, you say. So to do one Shakespeare after the other would be a lot. I will need to go and hide behind the camera where you just throw your lines away and you say them really quietly and everyone thinks it's good. And then in a few years, when I've got the courage again to approach it again and learn more than you probably do on those sets.
Yeah. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
So it's to have someone that actually knows what they're doing.
But you need that, don't you? Because you want to know you're in good hands.
Of course you do.
And you also want it when someone says that was shit, but that was good. You want to go, okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
Because if someone's too, pumping your ego, you're never going to know if you're doing anything right. Mm-hmm. And you just need to feel like you're in safe hands because you're so vulnerable out there.
Yeah.
Especially with Shakespeare, it's so exposing. You're so raw. I've never walked off stage and felt so raw, walking out that stage door. I do have to spend nights going out the other way with my head down because you've given so much that you don't give in normal life. Yeah. In contemporary plays and life, everything's under the surface. Everyone's very scared to say how they really feel. Yeah. In Shakespeare, this is how I feel. Yeah. And I'm going to cry, and I'm going to laugh, and I'm going to shout, and I'm going to be angry. Then you get off and you're just like, hey. It's shocking.
What would you say to, you're a younger actress, but what would you say to younger actresses or, actors who are auditioning at drama school, who have had a similar experience to you? Because actually, going back to the drama school thing, there's always a couple who literally look like they've nailed the RSC even when they haven't even trained, right? Yeah. They're kind of 18 and you're like, how did they know all this stuff?
I know.
So I think that's where it starts to, the fear part of it can get caught up with that, right? Because you want it so bad, they want it so bad, and you go, how have they got? So I'm wondering what's useful that you can share with people who are auditioning or coming up to do their first Shakespeare,
I think I'd keep it really simple, and I would say pace is your friend. Mm-hmm. I think when I first approached a classical text without any training, my instinct was to break it up and to put emphasis on the wrong lines. But if you don't quite know what you're saying, push through and speak it as much as possible like a human person, which is with pace. Push those thoughts right through to the end of the thought. And I don't think you can really go wrong. If you work out, and you can do it with a highlighter, you can just in different colours, up to the full stop, up to the full stop, up to the full stop. Oh good, there's 3 thoughts in there. Power through each one. Yeah. That would be my tip. It's quite an easy one as well.
Okay. Privileged to be in the room?
Privileged to be in the room and having those conversations about race, which are hard to have in the pub with your black friends because it's not their job to educate us. So it felt like a real privilege to be able to ask questions, to have a safe space, to get it wrong, and then hopefully to get it right eventually.
Yeah.
And I felt really grateful for that. To be able to ask those questions and to be able to have a space where you could get it wrong and with people that that love you and you trust. It felt very precious, and I felt very, very grateful for that space because I definitely got it wrong a lot in that room, and you can't go home and berate yourself because it's not about you, it's about the story.
Cool. Yeah.
And Clint was great at that, and I think we all felt that privilege actually being in that room.
And then to kind of 3 words to sum up your experience.
Oh, Christ.
Okay, I'll tell you what then.
Go on.
3 words to illuminate us on how you feel about Shakespeare.
God, 3 words.
3 words on who you are.
Just 3 words. Just say 3 words. Wait, 3 words on how I something about it. Human. Yeah. The human nature.
So.
Go on. It's very hard to put Shakespeare into 3 words.
The good things and the bad things, or the less enjoyable things about Shakespeare. I don't know. Something that so we get a sense of that. You know.
The good things, one of the best things for me about Shakespeare is the way he writes humans. I think is second to none in his interpretation of the way human nature works. His bravery, the emotions are big and you can't hide from it, and it's very exposing, and I think as an actor that's a wonderful challenge to not hide away from. The bad things are that it's a lot. It's a big feet, breath, voice, body, and you have to be prepared, ready to take on that challenge. You can't just do it half-heartedly. And it's hard to understand sometimes. It's hard to understand, so I'd always go through and make sure you know exactly what you're saying, even if you don't understand it on your first read. Go through with a toothpick comb and just comb and just work out exactly what the sentence is that you're trying to say.
Okay.
Bad thing is also that some of his female characters don't have as much weight as they deserve.
Yeah. Although, interestingly, I agree.
Or there aren't enough of them.
Yeah.
That I would say that maybe there's just not an equality in terms of the male and female characters having as much to do. Like Lady Macbeth is obviously amazing, but I just feel like there's not enough of them.
But it's straight. I totally agree. But how extraordinary also the scale of some of the female characters that he wrote, given when they were written as well. I'm still blown my mind a little bit.
I know what you mean. Like Amelia's speech as well is quite astonishing.
Yeah. But then you sort of wonder if the reason that female characters were so big or so good were because they were to embellish the male. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, but it is.
Yeah.
There are really good female characters in his work.
And actually, one of the other best things about Shakespeare is that there are 1,001 ways to play every line, and you can be really smart about the women, and you can change it on a dime, whether it's like read sarcastically or, and it still works. It still works. It's so thought out, and that's probably why it just gets done over and over again, because it can.
Yeah. Any final thoughts?
Can I just say, don't be afraid of Shakespeare. Don't be afraid, and always just go to the most human thing, because that will set you free.
Great.
Great.
Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.